Hello everyone, in this video we will be breaking down the 2-year MA Multiplier investor tool for Bitcoin to determine where we are in the current cycle and how we can use this chart to place better trades. If you are not familiar with this chart from lookintobitcoin.com, let me break it down for you. This chart has two key moving averages to help us determine whether Bitcoin is overvalued or undervalued. The first moving average is this red moving average right here that represents a 2-year moving average for Bitcoin multiplied by 5. And this bottom moving average right here, which is in green, represents just a simple 2-year moving average. Now, before we dive more in depth into that chart, let me briefly summarize the overview for you. The first thing to take note of is this is to be used as a long-term investment tool. This isn't looking at the day-to-day price action of Bitcoin, but is meant for those investors who are looking to buy near bottoms and sell near tops over the course of years, not months, not weeks, not days, but years. This chart is also used to highlight periods where the buying or selling of Bitcoin during those times would have produced outsized returns. How it works is you buy Bitcoin when the price drops below the green line. Again, historically, this has generated outsized returns by buying near that local bottom before the next bull market, and also selling Bitcoin when the price goes above the 2-year MA that's multiplied by 5. Again, that red moving average has historically been effective for taking profit, knowing when to exit the market, that it's become overextended, and that it's a good time to take some profits before that 1-year bear market usually begins, as we have historically seen. The last thing that I want to point out is this chart is simple and effective. Again, it's not going into the crazy mathematical financial tools that me and a lot of other people use to see the day-to-day price movement of Bitcoin, but this is taking a step back and saying simply, buy here and sell here. So now going back to the chart, we can see how that really works. Diving into Bitcoin's first cycle in 2011, we can see that once we broke that red 2-year moving average, we quickly ran all the way up to our all-time high around $30. And once we broke back below that moving average right here, that is what truly led us into our bear market. And of course, once we broke this green moving average, that's what led us into this period of oversold conditions. Whenever it is green, that means it's oversold and it's historically a good time to buy. And again, red represents overbought or exhaustion in the market and is a good time to sell. What I've also noticed is it's interesting. So far, every cycle has almost been a 50% drop from the time we crossed this green moving average to our bottom. For example, here, this moving average was around $4, and then again, once we broke it, we dropped 50% to $2 before finally breaking back to $4 right here at the end of 2011, and this is what started the next bull market. Now looking at the next bull market, you can see that that period of oversold whenever we were in the green was historically the best time to buy. Again, we broke above this moving average in late 2011, ran all the way up to about $7 before again falling around 50% back to $4. But what's really cool is you can see how price respected that green moving average here and here before truly beginning the bull market. Once this run began, you can see we entered the first period of overbought conditions here back in April of 2013 whenever we reached our first peak of $214 before breaking back below our moving average, having a long period of sideways consolidation before finally we broke back above right here, leading us to our true all-time high of the 2013 bull market in November, around $1,100. After this period of BTC being overbought in 2013, we broke back below that 2-year moving average times 5 and ended up coming back to our green simple 2-year moving average. Now what's interesting about this is price tried to respect it right here and also try to respect it right here before finally capitulating once we broke it here in December of 2014. What's interesting about this capitulation is it also moved down about 50%. The price was around $349 whenever it was at this moving average, and its low ended up being around $199. So not quite 50%, but very, very close. Now looking at the famous 2017 bull market, after we finished consolidating in the period of oversold conditions, which again was historically the best time to buy Bitcoin before the next bull market, once we finally broke above our green simple 2-year moving average, you can see price tested right along this moving average before starting the bull market. Once this run began, price action did respect this 2-year moving average as resistance before finally we broke above right here and ended up creating our peak around 20K in December of 2017. Once we broke below our red moving average, we came all the way to the green, and similar to the 2 previous cycles, we almost had another exact 50% drop. We started this drop around $5,500, which is where that 2-year moving average was, and our low was a little above $3,000. Now there is one slight outlier with this chart, and that was during the COVID crash. Again, historically, this was still the best time to buy Bitcoin, but you could have still got it within $1,000 of where the low was over here during the COVID crash before starting our 2020 bull market. Looking at the run of 2020, similar to previous cycles, once we ended up breaking above our green simple moving average, that's whenever the momentum really shifted to the upside. But what's different about this cycle is this time, instead of getting above our red moving average as we did in the previous cycles, we just reached it exactly, and then that is what ended up calling the top. Now, if you remember back during this period of time, whenever I was posting on Instagram, a lot of my content, I was pointing out that this was a very worrisome thing whenever Bitcoin's price was around 58,000 to 62,000, and this should be a warning sign to investors as we're reaching that period of euphoria. Now, although again, I did call the top between 58,000 and 62,000, and our true top was 69,000, by selling at this point, you would have done very, very well for yourself. Take a look at our current cycle. We ended up reaching our 2-year simple moving average around May of 2022, which was during the Terra Luna collapse, where our moving average was sitting around $35,000. And again, just like previous cycles, we ended up creating a low about 50% lower, around $15,916. What's crazy about this period in Bitcoin is this has been the longest we have ever been in oversold conditions. Now, we still haven't gotten above our 2-year simple moving average, which, looking back at previous cycles, whenever we get above our 2-year simple moving average, that is when the tide usually shifts into the start of the next bull market. Currently, that price is around $31,251, which would also be breaking our previous short-term top, which could give validity to that argument. Looking at our upper moving average, right now it puts us around $156,256. Based on the previous cycle, with diminishing returns, we might not even reach that price target, but it should be something relatively close. My guess is maybe a little bit above 100K, but it's a little too early to say. Hopefully this video brought some value to you and gave you a better understanding on how to read the 2-year MA multiplier chart for Bitcoin so that you can use it during this next cycle to find periods that it's really good to buy Bitcoin and find those periods where it might be time to start exiting the market. So make sure to add this chart to your trading toolkit. I'll leave a link in the description where you can easily access this chart. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching.